Imagine a world where museums, long regarded as bastions of free thought and cultural exploration, suddenly find themselves under the intense scrutiny of political forces. This isn't the plot of a dystopian novel. It's the reality that some fear could unfold in America. But here's where it gets controversial. Can a sitting president truly reshape the landscape of US museums to align with his vision? And if so, what does this mean for the future of art, history, and education? On August 13, 2025, former President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform to announce an ambitious plan. He vowed to expand his administration's review process, already underway at the Smithsonian Institution, to include other American museums. Labeling these institutions the last remaining segment of woke, Trump declared war on what he perceives as politically biased narratives within museum exhibits. His post suggested that the same procedures used to audit colleges and universities would now be applied to museums. But let's break this down further. What exactly is happening, and why is it sparking such heated debate? Earlier this month, the White House initiated an audit of the Smithsonian, which receives 62% of its funding from federal sources. While details remain murky, it seems the administration is exploring ways to exert legal or financial pressure on museums to conform to its ideological preferences. A White House official, speaking anonymously to NPR, stated, "President Trump will explore all options and avenues to get the woke out of the Smithsonian and hold them accountable. He will start with the Smithsonian and then go from there." This raises critical questions. Is the focus solely on the Smithsonian, or does it extend to the broader network of American museums? With over 22,000 institutions nationwide falling under the umbrella of the American Alliance of Museums, AAM, the potential scope be staggering. From iconic art galleries to small-town historical societies, no institution may be immune. Many tackle topics like race, identity, and the environment, subjects that often divide public opinion along partisan lines. The president's comments on Truth Social hinted a particular emphasis on representations of Black American history. For instance, he criticized portrayals of slavery and systemic oppression, singling out the National Museum of African American History and Culture for immediate review. Critics argue that this move reflects a broader effort to suppress minority voices and rewrite history. Democratic lawmakers, including Representative Benny Thompson, have accused Trump of attempting to erase Black voices and history. Meanwhile, organizations like the New York City Bar warn that these actions could undermine the transformative goals of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So, why did the Smithsonian become ground zero for this initiative? Unlike most museums, the Smithsonian operates under unique circumstances. Established by Congress, it relies heavily on federal funding and serves as both a tourist attraction and a symbol of national pride. Last year alone, Smithsonian-affiliated sites drew nearly 17 million visitors. Its prominence makes it a logical starting point for any large-scale review. However, the recent cuts to agencies like the Institute of Museum and Library Services, the National Endowment for the Arts, and the National Endowment for the Humanities complicate matters further, leaving many institutions uncertain about their financial futures. And this is the part most people miss. Even museums without direct federal ties aren't safe. About 20% of US museums operate under local, state, or tribal governments, making them vulnerable to political influence. For example, a municipal museum leasing land for a nominal fee might face pressure to alter its programming to align with the views of those holding the purse strings. Private donors add another layer of complexity. Corporate sponsors and philanthropists who fund exhibitions may begin demanding changes to ensure alignment with prevailing political narratives. Such pressures threaten the independence that defines museums' value to society. Could Trump's approach mirror the audits conducted on universities? Legal experts caution that museums enjoy robust First Amendment protections, Patty Gerstenbliff, a law professor specializing in cultural heritage, explains that while the government isn't obligated to fund specific exhibits, it cannot engage in viewpoint discrimination. In simpler terms, the feds can't defund an exhibit simply because they disagree with its message. Yet the line between private and government speech complicates things. If taxpayer dollars fund an exhibit, does it qualify as government speech subject to regulation? This grey area leaves room for interpretation and controversy. Historically, the Supreme Court addressed similar issues in 1998 during the National Endowment for the Arts versus Finley case. The court ruled that the NEA could impose decency standards on grant recipients, but only up to a point. Would today's justices rule differently given the current political climate? Scholars and advocacy groups are sounding the alarm. The AAM warns that censorship threats create a chilling effect across the entire museum sector. Other organizations, like the Organization of American Historians and the American Association for State and Local History, echo these concerns, framing the proposed oversight as an attack on intellectual freedom. Finally, consider the Kennedy Center, where Trump now serves as chair. Though unrelated to the Smithsonian Review, his involvement signals a concerted effort to shape how Americans interact with culture and history, especially in Washington, D.C., the nation's symbolic heart. What do you think? Should museums retain absolute creative freedom? Or is there merit in holding them accountable for taxpayer-funded content? Share your thoughts in the comments below.